Hi, and welcome to HumanityRx, where we are sharing stories that highlight the human side of healthcare and bringing you life lessons from the bedside. We are your hosts, Jenny,
Tova,
and Jonathan,
and we're glad you're here. Our guest today is Mr. Mark Halverson. And Mark, you have an incredible story. You are a Navy veteran. Thank you for your service. You are a traumatic brain injury survivor, and you are a passionate advocate for people who have suffered from brain injury. We really admire your work. Thank you for your time, and thank you for being here. Can you tell everybody a little bit more about your story?
Yeah, thank you for having me. My name is Mark Halverson, originally from the Chicago area. They transferred me here, Siemens did. I work for Siemens Energy and Automation. They transferred me to Atlanta, Georgia in 97. 99, I took a bad fall off my screening porch roof and had what we call a traumatic brain injury. I was in a coma for 3 weeks. My wife Maureen saved me that day, got me to the hospital. And when I came out of the coma, I had to learn how to walk, talk, think, most importantly, slow down, smell the roses. And it was tough. It was really tough. 3 kids. I have 3 children. We have 5 grandkids today. And a lot of ebbs and flows to traumatic brain injury. I tried to go back to work. It didn't take. We realized that after traumatic brain injury, as an advocate, I'm talking a bit too, that there's a lot of cognition issues. There's a lot of executive functioning that goes on in the brain. The ability to divide attention, the ability to stay focused on tasks. And those are things that I struggle with. My background has been in sales and marketing. I'm an extrovert, which is good in the sense because I'm motivated. I get up and go. I don't worry about that. So this went on. As I went back to work, I realized that cognitively I wasn't getting it done. And cognitively, I needed more help. So I went back for more help. Period of time. And 11 happened. Siemens, while I was on disability, tried to sever my relationship. They could not do it. I was protected by long-term disability. So I stayed on long-term disability. And as a volunteer, what I've done is help people. I started a Toastmaster support group with Kathy, my outpatient speech therapist. In 2005, she passed away in 2006. She was very important to me and my outcome and my ability to. So I went looking for speech language pathologists to join our group. We met every other Friday, and of course, COVID happened. So COVID really changed. We lost 2 members of our group to COVID. From that point, we went virtual. So we've been virtual as a support group every other Friday on the Zoom platform. We have 3 speech language pathologists as consultants that I recruited join us in the second hour. And, it's been tough. Just today, I was talking to a group up in Maine that's going to join us in 2 weeks with some of their clients that are in assisted living rehabilitation setting. So people want to be seen, want to be heard, want to know that they're not alone in their injuries. And I tried to bring that up.
It's so important, Mark. And I worked with people who have traumatic brain injuries for quite a while. It's always this thing where other injuries you can see and you can expect things, but with a traumatic brain injury, the person looks the same. So you expect them to be the same and function the same way, but that's not always the case.
No, it's not. In fact, Jenny, you also have heard that it's an invisible injury. You don't see, you don't understand the person because they look good. They look great. There are sometimes I catch folks in the community that are slurring their speech, or if I ask them, hey, what's your name? And they struggle with getting their name out.
You mentioned Kathy, your speech pathologist who worked with you outpatient. Can you talk about what was special about her that made such an impact on you?
Well, she and I were the same age, and I bring my Franklin planner in there, and I was very focused. This is 1999, and when I asked her what school she went to, she said Florida State, and it brought me back to my long-term memory. And once you tap the long-term memory, you start thinking, wow. So I knew the school she went to because we used to come down to Georgia from Chicago on vacation, and we used to go to a camp in Georgia that had Florida State students everywhere. So she was one of those students. And pretty cool. So, she treated the whole person, not the injury. She got into it right off and it really worked. And she and I became very close, and her husband, more my wife too. Yeah.
What did she do to treat the whole person?
What an SLP does, the ones that go in interdisciplinary medicine, they ask questions. They get to know their patient, right? They get to know something about them, about their past prior to brain injury. And so it helps them be able to work with them cognitive tasks, such as divided attention or memory. And that's important because if they go at it clinically, okay, focused, they can lose their client or a patient.
Yeah. That's the whole human part of it, right?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be treated like a person.
Yeah. And a lot of times, I run this group and what happens is, and I talk to a lot of SLPs, we have SLPs all over the country that come into our group to shadow our group and learn about brain injury socially. And a lot of what you wear, okay, on your head, like I see a Georgia hat or an Atlanta Hawks hat there, what you wear tells you something, right? And if you're a therapist and you don't pick up on what they're wearing, there's a problem.
Been a part of support groups as a therapist, leading the support group. And the best part about the support group is what I learned from the survivors. I'm supposed to go and do a little PowerPoint. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I just sit back and listen. And it's sometimes the best way to learn as a healthcare provider.
Yeah.
And very humbling too.
No. And what I was telling someone earlier today, if you've seen one brain injury, you've seen one brain injury. They're all different. And you don't assume that. And the other thing I say, God gave you 2 ears and a mouth for a reason. He wants you to do 2 times more listening than talking.
That is a solid advice, Mark. Is there a specific story that you experienced in your healthcare journey that had a profound impact on you?
Well, I think so. I mean, back in 1999, I what I really loved is that my interdisciplinary team of therapists communicated amongst each other. I was just talking to my case manager, Susan Scott, and I call Susan the quarterback. What I remember most is the communication. They treat the whole person. They know who you are. Something as simple as, from an occupational standpoint, we're going to go out shopping, okay? And I had to get all the ingredients for tonight's meal. And that's what I remember a lot. Is like, I was a traveling salesman. I was on the road all the time. Maureen's my wife and the mother of 3 kids, and she's the one that cooked. She's the one that prepared the meals. I was the guy that just showed up at the meal, right? And so you got humbled real quick when you had to go out and get the ingredients and decide what we're going to make, how we're going to make it, prepare it, prep it, make it, and then serve it to all your therapists. To me, that was about the coolest thing because I wasn't comfortable with it. You call it neuroplasticity, whatever you want, but it was different. So I think that's the thing I remember a lot. And then, since then, the other things that I've done to raise money and raise awareness for brain injury. I'm a swimmer. I did a lot of swims and a lot of things like that. But the healthcare community is a big part of it because as long as the healthcare community is educated and people with post-brain injuries, as they struggle with articulation, memory, as long as they're there, that's good.
And have a good understanding of how we can all support. And I think you are a true testament to hard work. I mean, you've put so much work into getting better, overcoming these obstacles, and then for advocating for so many others.
Yeah, and Jenny, I'm glad you brought that up because one of the things that's somewhat difficult is that no 2 injuries are the same. So we have a lot of veterans that are coming in the group now with PTSD. I'm a Navy vet, but yet I was only in for 4 years. But what went on in Afghanistan, what went on in Iraq, the IED bomb blasts were many, a lot of concussions. And things that I never experienced. My sleep has been pretty good, but a lot of these men and women, I could just tell them who they are in the community, on the golf course, Starbucks, or anywhere. There's just a lot of panic, in the eyes, they're just not comfortable. So there's a lot of different populations you got to zoom in on as a facilitator and a leader of the group, and you got to help.
And Mark, can you tell everybody about your organization and how they can find out more?
Yeah, so you can email me at Halvorsen mark9@gmail. That's the first thing to do. Lowercase. Always wanting to SLPs shadow our group. Harlow University in Pittsburgh is coming to our group with 11 therapists over 2 different meetings. We have people that are aware who we are and can come in. So we meet every other Friday on the Zoom platform and for 2 hours. The first hour, it's more social, okay? We're checking in on each other, how we're doing, what's going on. Because things evolve with your everything, cognitively, emotionally, physically, after brain injury. And then in the second hour, we have speech therapists join our group that have been in the field for a long time. And we'll go into aphasia, the speech language disorder. We work on exercises in language. And then after that, we go into some neuroplasticity exercises. Always be firing it, always be wiring it. What I try to do is motivate. I'm a motivator and educator, and then we try to direct a meeting. So sometimes in meetings we'll have new people, and I tend to focus in on the new folks. But every other Friday from 12 Eastern to 2 Eastern, we meet. We got them all over the country, and now we're starting to get them all over the world. Australia is going to come in 2 weeks, and that happens to be a brain tumor person, right? So we have brain tumor, we have TBI, we have stroke, we have motor incomplete spinal cord, but really our focus is cognition, awareness with perception, help there.
What is a lesson that you can leave for everybody if you wanted to leave your prescription for humanity based on your experiences as a patient, advocate? What would that be?
Well, it's the continuum of care. They throw this corporate term out. I don't like it because the continuum of care is for people with brain injuries it's ongoing. Brain injury involves the family, so it's a family injury. It's not just a person. When therapy is over, it's not over. This is where people come into our group in the sense that from a healthcare standpoint, always be improvement. We're that group. We're that group in a speech way. We're also that group on the golf course. I run an adaptive golf group. We have a first Tuesday best ball right there at Bobby Jones Golf Course, right next to Shepherd Center in Atlanta. We just let people know they're alone, and that much.
I think that's a strong prescription for humanity, letting people know that they're not alone. That matters.
Now, and Jen, one other thing I want to say to you is that a lot of support groups will tend to vacillate in them. It's why me. I've even said it, and Jeff Richmond has said it, others have said it. So that's a big thing.
Truly a big thing, Mark. Thank you so much. You are inspiring. Thank you for the work that you do, for the people that you help. Thank you so much for being here today and speaking with us.
Thank you for listening to HumanityRx. We hope today's conversation gave you something to think about and maybe even feel a little more connected to the human experience. To find out more about our guest, please find more information in our show notes. HumanityRx is created, written, and produced by the three of us, Jenny, Tova, and Jonathan. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd love it if you subscribed, left a review, or shared it with someone who needs a little dose of humanity. You can find us on Instagram at HumanityRxPod or LinkedIn at HumanityRx. Until next time, be good to yourselves and each other.